I just went to the Miami Grand Prix, one of the most exciting events of this year, and as a big fan of the sport, I eagerly embarked on a thrilling adventure to the race, eager to witness the excitement that awaited me. Having attended the race in 2022, I had high expectations for this year's event, and I was not disappointed. This was my second time going to the race, as the previous year I attended. It was an incredible experience being in the Formula 1 atmosphere and seeing the cars in person. The only bad thing is that I had to walk over 1.5 miles to get to the stadium on Saturday and Sunday, and the extremely hot weather, which was very painful. That's why for this year, I decided to take a bus to Miami, since it was way more convenient and actually cost less. I parked on one of the lots that are around the Miami area, and buses were there, waiting for fans to come in. The scenic drive allowed me to soak in the beauty of the surroundings and gradually build anticipation for the thrilling race weekend ahead. A convenient mode of transportation ensured a stress-free and enjoyable trip. Stepping off the bus, I was immediately greeted by the vibrant energy that filled the atmosphere. There was music, there were Formula 1 fans everywhere, and it was just how I expected it. With my ticket in hand, I made my way to the North Beach grandstands, which was the exact same area I was in last year. The good thing about that seat was that it covered 3 different corners, turn 11, 12, and 13. Plus, in that part, you could see the cars going slowly since those are slow corners. Nonetheless, you could still hear the revving engines as they exited turn 12, making the atmosphere even better. As a support race to the main event, the Porsche Carrera Cup North America Series was cool to watch despite having no knowledge of the drivers, teams, and cars. I attended every one of those events, which were practice sessions on Friday, qualifying in race 1 on Saturday, and race 2 on Sunday. It's always fun to have another race or two on the race weekend. Friday was dedicated to the F1 practice sessions, providing fans like me a unique opportunity to witness the teams and drivers fine-tune their setups and familiarize themselves with the circuit. It's always exciting to see the cars for the first time in FP1. And on Fridays, the grandstands aren't as full, so you could basically sit wherever you want. And FP1 nicked the respawn right in front of me, which was pretty cool to see so early on. Beyond the captivating racing action, the Miami Grand Prix offered a lot of attractions to keep spectators entertained throughout the weekend. There was an F1 experience area with professional simulators you could race on, a podium, air tunnels to simulate the speed of F1 cars, trophies, selfie booths, and so much more, making the event a lot more fun. The food was very good in general too, and the area I was in, the restaurants were in a big area with tons of seats, and most of the time it wasn't a problem to find somewhere to sit. The best thing was the nachos with cheese, as those were super good, and also the ribs and pizza were good too. There was also an F1 merchandise area, which are all over the place. The stores were stacked with all sorts of team merch, and as you can expect, it cost a fortune. I still bought a Red Bull shirt as it was the nicest looking one and the one that looked the most durable. On Saturday, I arrived a bit late since the first thing in the morning was the Porsche qualifying, but I still barely missed anything since the driver who spun caused a red flag for most of the session right in front of us, but I forgot to record it. Then it was FP3 followed by the first Porsche race, which was pretty exciting. Then the qualifying race took place, which was insane after Leclerc's crash, with almost all fans going crazy since Perez took pole. There were many Checo fans in Miami, and you could hear them yelling his name every time he passed by. I also saw a truck that picked Leclerc's car after his session was over, which was exactly what I saw last year but with signs. In between races, you can go explore the event and you can go to the Hard Rock Stadium. When inside, you can sit in the grandstands with some TVs there, but most importantly, you could see the paddock from above. On this occasion, it was after qualifying, so I saw Magnussen and who I think was Alex Albon from very far away. Overall, that day was pretty good. I did a lot of exploring and did some of the F1 experiences later on. Finally, the day arrived when the engines would roar to life, and the drivers would battle it out on Sunday. It started off with another Porsche race, which saw the same driver dominate once again, and then a couple of hours later, it was race time. I was sitting outside my grandstand when I saw the notorious driver introductions on my phone. Personally, I think the whole situation was blown way out of proportion, because obviously it was sort of cringe and unnecessary, but it wasn't that bad either. At the end of the day, it's a show, especially in Miami where just one ticket costs a lot. Regardless, the race started 15 minutes later and the atmosphere was electric. Everyone stood up when the cars came up, and I saw a couple of overtakes throughout the race. While most of the fans were going for Perez, it was obvious Verstappen had the upper hand, and after a battle for the win, Verstappen came out on top with his new mediums and crossed the line to take his second consecutive win at Miami. To say this was unexpected was an understatement, but I did expect Perez to win. Nevertheless, I still watched the podium from the TV that was in front of us, and after, I headed to the track. Last year I was able to walk the track without any issue, but this year when trying to enter through one of the entrances, I was stopped by a guard who refused to let me in, or at least even explain why I couldn't go to the track or another entrance in which I could. After a bit of frustration, I looked around for another entrance but was unsuccessful. After that, I explored the area around the yachts and the notorious fake water, which was the polar opposite of where my grandstands were. And funnily enough, there was fake sand too. I also saw a lot of supercars and even some super futuristic cars funded by Jack Laffington, which coincidentally I learned about a week prior when researching for the Joel Villeneuve video, which you should definitely check out after this. Then it was time to say goodbye and hopefully come back next year, or maybe at another track, who knows. All in all, I think the experience was unforgettable, and as a Formula 1 fan, I tried to make the most out of it, attending as many events and exploring as much as possible. The Miami Grand Prix gets a lot of hate for being boring, but in person it makes it a million times more exciting. Would I recommend it? Depends, because everything is so expensive I could probably find a better deal at another track, especially if you don't live nearby. But the overall Formula 1 Grand Prix experience was terrific and I enjoyed it a lot. You should subscribe so maybe in the future I can be famous enough to go to every race. Jokes aside, thanks for watching, and you should check out this very interesting story of the tragic tale of the fastest Formula 1 driver. Catch you in the next one. Peace.